This is the limitless Keith Lee.
This is Brody King.
This is Angel Garza.
Will Ospreay.
Hornswoggle.
Pentagon Jr.
The Mexican Ray Phoenix.
King Ricochet.
Concrete Rose, Sunny Kiss.
And I'm here to ask you to stop what you're doing, take just one moment, and bask in the glory of the Busted Wide Open.
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 Boston Wide Open.
Busted wide open. Thank you.
You're listening to the Busted Wide Open podcast, dropping the elbow on the hottest topics in sports entertainment and the world of professional wrestling. With your hosts, Nick Howell and Sir Ian Dangerous. Coming to you from the Orbital Jigsaw Network Arena in sunny Southern California. Welcome, everybody, to BWO Live, coming to you from across the Busted Wide Open universe of Twitch, YouTube, and Facebook. This is episode number 355 of Busted Wide Open. My name is Nick Howell.
Carrion Cross is a gladiator. I'm a gladiator. I am Sir Ian Dangerous, and welcome to the show. It's going to be one hell of a show today. We're covering Monday Night Raw. It went down last night, and we're covering it today. And yes, sometime during the show today, I will be using up one of my yearly allocations of F-bombs. It's up to you to decide where it's going to be. You think about it. Where do you think it's going to be? You're going to find out. Stick around because we got to do a whole show about Monday Night Raw. But first, Nick, we got to do some business, and then we can talk about other wrestling.
Yes, linktree.com/BWO. All the links to all of our stuff and things you can find over there. Like, share, subscribe, follow, do all that stuff. Find links over there as well to BWOmerch.com to pick up some sweet swag, hoodies, t-shirts, mouse pads, coffee mugs, all kinds of good stuff over at BWOmerch.com. And hey, if you want to support the show, drop your bits and subs here on Twitch, your super chats, and your membership joins over on YouTube. And hey, Patreon as well, patreon.com/BWO. You've got exclusive reward tiers over there where you can get perks such as asking questions in our weekly AMA mailbag show just at the $5 tier. Plus, you get audio-only versions of every single show as a podcast delivered straight to your devices at your podcast app of choice. You can also get into we just had the BWO Patron Pick'ems Championships this weekend. We got to talk about that a little bit as well. I think we did cover that pretty well on Sunday's recap show. But we might touch on it again and congratulate our new BWO Grand Patron Pick'ems champion, Mr. Jeremy Singer.
Congratulations,
sir. You will be getting prizes and stuff and things. We also had winners for NXT. We also had winners for SummerSlam. And we also had the winning loser. Is that how, I guess, winning is loser?
The losingest loser, the top loser.
The booby prize
the person
winner.
Who got the least points. The least.
And yes,
even though it was intentional, doesn't matter.
The two-time booby chief was unseated by one McGator guy.
McGator guy come in there on fire.
Woo.
He came in there on fire. I don't know, man. Martin might have to cross the pond and throw down.
Uh-oh.
Just saying.
What he is going to have to do is send that booby chief necklace back to Derek.
Oh,
I think
no.
Because he did, in his promo, commit to he will hold it until somebody takes it away from him. Well,
the booby chief necklace is the official necklace of pride of the booby chief.
I guess. I don't know. I guess they have to pass it around, you know. Anyway, I guess we'll find out. We'll see what goes down this week. But it was a lively weekend. Again, thank you, everybody, for joining us. 3 crazy nights. Friday night, we had CM Punk coming back. As if that wasn't enough, we had SummerSlam on Saturday. And if that wasn't enough, we had NXT TakeOver 36 on Sunday. 3 straight nights of wrestling. We got a night off last night, but we're back tonight to break down what went down last night on Monday Night Raw.
Well, I'm going to start with something unlikely as the first topic because this of all the things that happened on Monday Night Raw, this was the part that intrigued me the most, Nick. And I think you'll agree that this is something that we've seen coming for a while, and I think they've done a good job of teasing leading up to it. And when it finally happened, it was indeed satisfying. Miz and Morrison have been a team for a while. So it was odd to have Morrison come out solo for his Moist TV segment with Logan Paul. Now, I feel like with the way that WWE has been booking Logan Paul, having him make fun of Baron Corbin, having him, everyone and WWE be excited to see him, and the way he kind of acted, the way he was scripted on this segment, I think they think he's a face. I think they think people like him. They are wrong. He was booed out of the building. He got more heel heat than anyone on the show, including their heel champ, Bobby Lashley, including their heel ex-US champion, Sheamus. No one got more heat than Logan Paul. And this and the following segment were particularly awkward because they kept trying to be like, hey, Logan, why don't you do something that a babyface would do? And the audience just wasn't having it. Nick, at one point, Miz came out and said, wait, what's going on, Morrison? Why didn't you introduce me? I'm Logan Paul's biggest fan. Why aren't I in this segment? And he started mouthing off to Logan Paul about how his brother was going to get beat up on the next weekend when they had a boxing match in Cleveland. And Logan got in Miz's face. And Miz also said, I'm just wondering, what round is your brother going to be knocked out in? And the crowd turned the Miz face over Logan Paul. That's how much he's hated in San Diego, at the very least.
I don't know that I would.
Wow.
You referred to it as heel heat. I would refer to that as go away heat. He was just, they wanted him out of there.
It was loud. It was relentless. They could barely do the segment. It's go away heat, I feel, is quieter. They're sick to death of someone. This was, they were jumping him down and pointing, like, that's still good heel heat. And they were playing off of it. Like, at a certain point, they kept dancing back and forth. Like, we're both, Morrison and Miz are trained, to work with the crowd. And Miz is going with kind of like how the segment is going to go. But then there's a couple of times where he'd play to the crowd to get more heat on Logan, because that's what he felt. He's like, this is what we're supposed to be doing. When someone's getting this much heat, play into it. But unfortunately, the segment to work, Miz and Morrison had to be heels. Because at a certain point, they started yelling at each other, and Logan was like, oh, okay, cool, I'm out of here. And on his way out, he ran into Xavier Woods, and they like high-fived. So obviously, like, he's in good with the New Day. Big E and he are buddies like that, as we saw after SummerSlam. Like, they want him to be cool with the good guys, but he's not. Like, the WWE crowd does not want to hear about him being a good guy. This is like Becky Lynch being a bad guy, whatever it was, 2 years ago, 3 years ago, with a feud with Charlotte. They're not hearing it. WWE completely misplayed how Logan Paul is perceived, and it almost derailed this whole segment. It's lucky that we actually, to have things transition, we had a match with Xavier Woods, Miz versus Xavier Woods. And it was a fine little match. And at the end, Morrison screws up, squirts the dripstick at the wrong time, costs Miz the match. Miz is salty at first, but seems like he lightens up. They go to squirt the audience, and Miz turns on Morrison. Finally. And Nick, he jumps him.
Yeah.
He jumped that boy. If Miz had that kind of ferocity in most of his matches, people wouldn't be calling him soft. He jumped that boy. He beat the shit out of him and left him lying in the middle of the ring and walked off. Cries of why, Miz, why, and boos, and just got all his heat back after almost losing it to Logan Paul.
You know what the thing with Logan Paul is? To WWE, Logan Paul is Eva Marie.
Yes. Yeah. Oh, my God.
Logan Paul, they look at Logan Paul, and they don't see Logan Paul or anything he's done before. They see 6.7 million YouTube subscribers.
Yes.
They look at Eva Marie, and they see 4.8 million Instagram followers.
Yes.
They don't. And is she pretty? Yes. Does she have a look and a style? Yes. It's an archetype thing, right? I can do something with that. The problem is that doesn't work for us, right? They look at that as we can work with somebody that can get it. To get 6.5 million YouTube subscribers is not easy. That takes a little bit of work and a lot of luck.
There is a percentage of your soul you have sold.
Absolutely.
To get that many.
Absolutely.
Yes.
And
Agreed.
so, I mean, to a certain extent, they're performers already to be able to do something. So I think WWE is looking at Logan Paul with 6 million YouTube subscribers and looking at it in the same way, bringing him back in for the same reasons that we brought Eva Marie back.
If you were to create an influencer in a vat of chemicals, you'd get Eva Marie.
Yes.
She is
Manufactured. Yes.
manufactured influencer. And WWE fans don't want to see that. I don't think any fans want to see that. People who aren't fans of WWE definitely don't want to see that. And Logan Paul is an obnoxious celebrity. It's kind of his thing. So I don't know. I mean, even against
looking at the wrong
Floyd
thing.
Mayweather.
I'm sorry. His latest video has 6 million views. He has 23
It's like 100
million subscribers.
Mother of God. Mother of God. People have no taste. Anyway, okay, the bottom line is I thought it was fascinating how WWE misjudged how Logan Paul is perceived by their audience. And the problem is they're backstage going, God, this crowd is a bunch of idiots. As opposed to, oh, wow, we misjudged how he was perceived. Let's alter how we show him in the future and do things differently. They saw at WrestleMania how he's perceived. People don't like him. And yet they bring him back and he's still a face the way that they're writing him. It's that disconnect is coming back. It's they are once again saying, no, it is the crowd who are fools, not us. So and not booking accordingly. Like, this could have been a wildly entertaining segment if they had realized Logan Paul is going to be booed out of the building, which, Nick, I don't know about you. I could have told you that before the show. Logan Paul going to get booed. I didn't think he was going to get booed that much, but he's going to get booed.
No.
And so if you're going to have a situation where Miz is turning on Morrison and you want Morrison to be perceived as a babyface, putting him next to, maybe that was what they were doing, and having him next to Logan Paul was going to have him look like a babyface against Logan Paul. But it feels more to me like, with the way they brought the Miz out, they thought you're going to have two babyfaces yucking it up, and Morrison's going to get a babyface rub from Logan Paul. Not that Logan Paul is, by contrast, going to make him look like a babyface. And when Miz comes out, you'll see it even more. And what they instead got was, of course, the first option I said, which was Logan Paul makes Morrison look like a babyface by contrast. And then things get weird when Miz comes out, and we don't know who to cheer and who to boo. They're cheering the Miz. They're cheering the Miz because he's dissing Logan Paul. Okay, enough about Logan Paul. Miz and Morrison. They're breaking up. Hallelujah.
Yep.
Perfect time. It's the thing, the whole shtick is done. What do you think? Move into a feud between the two of them, and then Miz goes his way, possibly split the brands. Morrison goes his way. Nice little singles career, maybe upper mid card. What are you thinking? What are you thinking for Morrison in terms of his ceiling?
Ooh, that one gets interesting.
Yeah.
Damian Priest just got the U.S. title. That has my attention. Potentially. We've also got the draft coming up potentially next month, maybe October. Yeah, and I think we could sit here and speculate on who's going to go after what, but we also know now after Saturday that we're going to have Extreme Rules on September 26th.
Yes.
So we're right at a month away from we got 4 weeks to build the next pay-per-view. And the most extreme pay-per-view of them all. Because it's extreme.
Yeah. So extreme. So extreme.
So, stipulation matches. Could we build some? Could we have a couple of matches that were exhibitions that led into a proper feud that ended up with a stipulation between, I don't know.
No holds barred. This is no holds barred matter. No rules or Extreme Rules match between Miz and Morrison. It makes all the sense.
Yep. That's what I'm thinking.
Absolutely.
Blow it off Extreme Rules.
If San Diego was any indication, the crowd is hot for that. This was one of the best received segments of the show.
Yeah.
In terms of audience participation and engagement, people were into this segment. All parts of it. The Moist TV, the match, the breakup, they were into it all. So I think if WWE sees that, whatever they think about the perception of Logan Paul aside, you look at it and say, okay, the crowd is engaged at the very least. One would hope that they would see that. But who knows whether or not that will work. I personally am very excited for Morrison to have a singles career. He's been doing great work lately. Some fantastic matches. We both know the dude is an incredible wrestler. I don't think he's ever been positioned to. I mean, he's held championships everywhere, but I don't know if he's ever, with the exception of the time that he was on top of ECW, at least on the main roster, been in a position where I feel like he could skyrocket if they just have him win the right couple of matches coming up.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, he could be really over really quick. I'm not saying like a top guy, but I'm saying definitely
upper mid card.
Yeah. If they play their cards right, they could have a hot commodity here. Now it's just a matter of how they perceive him. Do they perceive him as the next Ricochet? Do they perceive him as the next Damian Priest or Matt Riddle? You know, that's really the question. Riddle, I think, is probably more of an appropriate one, just between their styles and the humor involved with them both. Like, you know, if they say, well, Riddle's already on Raw, let's have Morrison go to SmackDown. We can have a Riddle on SmackDown as well. I feel like he would fill that role spectacularly.
Yeah. I think that's really good.
Yeah, fingers crossed.
We knew it was coming. It wasn't if, it was when and how. And I think they've lined it up nicely here. First one back after SummerSlam, set it up for Extreme Rules stipulation match. Let them, you know, bark at each other for the next couple of weeks leading up to it. Have a match and just DQ it, no finish, whatever, and then Extreme Rules. And yeah.
Yep.
We're WWE 101.
Hashtag Wrestling. Opening up the show is a match I didn't know I wanted to see, Nick.
Okay.
We had Bobby Lashley and MVP come out and try to explain what happened on Saturday at SummerSlam. Basically give us an entire recap of what happened with the Goldberg match and Bobby Lashley attacking his son afterwards after Goldberg got, quote-unquote, injured by Bobby Lashley so bad he couldn't finish the match. Of course, MVP negating to talk about the fact that he hit Goldberg in the leg with his delayed action cane. You know, you hit someone with it and then they react 5 seconds later.
Right.
It's a delayed action cane. It's actually, you know, what we really have found out is Goldberg actually has the same thing a Brontosaurus has, where he's got actually like too much distance between his brain and his limbs. So there's actually like, you know, when something happens to him, it actually takes a long time to get from one part of his body to the other. Anyway, I digress. The point here is that Bobby Lashley and MVP running their mouths, saying they'll kick anyone's ass, anyone who jumps in the ring, you're going to get what you get, including all of you cowards out here in San Diego. Oh, man, you insult the town, you know what's going to happen. Out comes someone to say, hey, Mr. Heel, I'm not going to have you talking bad about this fine town. And on this show, that someone happened to be the U.S. champion Damian Priest? Huh? Rawr? He came out. We know he doesn't like bullies. He's said so a lot. And so he came out to say, Mr. Lashley, I do not approve of your verbiage towards this fine town. And I'll have you know that if you impugn these people again, I'm going to have to ball my hand up into a fist and put it between your lips. And Lashley said, well, fine then. I suppose we have a contest, sir. Slap each other with the gloves. And then we have a match.
Yeah.
Actually, Damian Priest kind of runs him out of the ring. Lashley gets pissed off, says, fine, I'm going to go back and change. We're going to have a match. They come back. They start having a match. It doesn't go long because, of course, someone gets involved to cause a DQ. That's someone being Sheamus. As soon as Damian Priest starts getting an edge on Bobby Lashley, Sheamus comes out to beat him up. DQ, the heels start beating him down. And then someone else who doesn't like bullies comes running out, and that's someone, Drew McIntyre, fresh off of his sparkling feud with Jinder Mahal. He comes running out to break things up, and we end up in, as we do, Nick, you were talking about WWE 101, an impromptu tag match. Damian Priest and Drew McIntyre versus
GMing
Bobby
again?
Lashley and Sheamus. Holla, 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 holla. I honestly, I was sitting there at first going, tag match. And then I went, wait a minute. Priest and McIntyre versus Sheamus and Lashley. This is going to be Hoss fight. This is going to be fun. And it was. There was some big men slapping some big meat up in there, Nick.
Yes, there was.
What did you think about this match? Am I alone in this?
No, I quite enjoyed this, actually. I was kind of going, I rolled and went, oh, God. Okay, Drew again. And actually, I was pleasantly surprised by it.
They brought me back in.
Yeah.
But you raise a good point. Okay, so perhaps Priest and Sheamus have pre-existing business. Perhaps they're putting that to bed. Perhaps they're going to have some more. Drew McIntyre and Bobby Lashley, was this a one-off? Drew can't challenge Lashley anymore for the championship. That was a stipulation. Yeah. What's he doing in here? What's going on there?
He's idling and treading water until they draft him to SmackDown to go face Roman.
The Nick booking strikes. There it is. question, because we did see later in the show, Sheamus got mad because during the match, Bobby Lashley walked out on him, left Sheamus alone to eat a Claymore in the pin. Sheamus came after him and said, "You bastard, how dare you leave me alone? I'm going to kick your ass." And Lashley said, "Cool, let's go." And so next week we're having Sheamus versus Lashley, which is interesting. Plot twist. I suspect they're treading water until Goldberg comes back, but if so, they could do worse. I mean, right. We suspected it wasn't going to happen until Extreme Rules, or more likely Crown Jewel, when we're going to see the rematch between those two.
Because they still got business. The way they finished the match, him putting his hands on his 15-year-old son, putting him in the Hurt Lock, like there's business to settle there. And as much as it begroans me to kind of go, oh God, Goldberg again, I'm sitting here going, I mean, there's legitimate business to finish there. And part of me says, okay, they didn't strap him at SummerSlam, but it's the longer we drag that out, the more likely it becomes that they flip it to Goldberg. And I'm just sitting here going, no, probably not Extreme Rules. Yeah, Crown Jewel.
Yeah, Crown Jewel.
The more I think about it.
Goldberg is on S tier in Saudi Arabia.
Yes.
He gets a boost to strength.
Yes.
When he's in the Arab Emirates.
He also gets
Arab
a boost
area.
to concussions, unfortunately, but
wop
snap.
wop. Yeah, doors also get S tier apparently.
Hey, Kyle threw in 100 bits,
yeah.
said they didn't even put Sammy and KO in the 24 documentary because of how Paul was treated.
Yeah, that's interesting.
I haven't got to see that
right?
yet, but it's definitely on the top of the list.
Instead of rolling with it and going, hey, he's hated by our universe, let's have him be a really fun heel, they go, let's just pretend it doesn't exist and ruin one of the better matches on the card and just not show anything about it. Wow.
If I'm KO and Sammy, I'm looking at that going, well, time to go.
Look at the time. Look at the time. Look at the time. Oh, Sammy went off on it online. Obviously, I think partially in kayfabe. Partially.
Yeah.
But yeah,
hang on, one more real quick.
Okay.
Cal another 100 bits said, would have rather this be Keith Lee here than Drew, honestly, but given his situation, I guess they are still building up his in-ring stamina with dark matches.
Yeah, we don't really have any new information about what exactly is going on with his heart. Definitely, we don't know if it's medical, why he's not being used more, or if they just don't have faith in him, or if it's one of those things like where they're like, well, we just don't want to take the chance.
It could be a timing thing too. They might not have anybody else or any spot to work him really, and they don't want to send him out there to lay down for somebody else,
And I like the segment later on where they had Drew and Priest kind of like meet up, and Drew be like the seasoned veteran going like, hey, new guy, let's go out drinking tonight.
Right.
And Priest look, you get the rub, basically. Like, yes, this would have been really cool with Keith Lee, but this is for getting Damian Priest the rub. And that brings me to Priest, because his push is in full freaking swing. We are having an honest-to-God Damian Priest push. Obviously had a bit of one before WrestleMania, and then it just they just let it simmer for a while, didn't really do much with him, did a couple dumb things with him, like a zombie match. And he just kind of like was on the sidelines, and then at a certain point they went, okay, here we go. You're going to get the U.S. title, and then we're off to the races. Here's the question with Priest. He's got virtually everything that the upper brass of WWE typically want, right? He's a crossover star where he can speak to two different audiences, the Latino audience, the Hispanic audience, and the U.S. audience, the English audience, English-speaking audience, whatever you want to call it, right? He can speak to both audiences. He spoke in Spanish last night on the show, got a huge pop for it. So that's obviously appealing to them. He has a cool look. He's got the height and the size. His moveset is exciting. He obviously gets WWE, what you're supposed to do in the company beyond just how to work the match, but how to work the mic. He's good on the mic. Yep. He's got a character that is over with the crowd. He has everything that they could be looking for. Do you feel like they're all in on Damian Priest, or is he being tested right now? Was this match a test?
The latter.
Is he coming out as the champ, getting mic time, hanging out with Drew? Are they seeing how he looks against other people who are established big stars? Do you feel Damian Priest is still being tested?
Yes, 100%. And that's totally the reason you send him out at the top of the show to have a confrontation with Bobby Lashley, an MVP. Can he hold his ground? And he did.
And you know what's funny? I people think that the brass ring is just, how hard you work and how good your matches are. The brass ring is also partly when you go out there, like Damian Priest did here, and like you just said, him at the top of the show. That's testing.
Yep.
When you go out, what reaction do you get? And that's nothing to do with anything that you're doing.
Not to mention going out.
He
didn't go out there to open the show. He went out there to interrupt the current WWE champion who came out to open the show. The top heel in the company. Well,
of the brand.
Of the brand. Roman's probably still miles away.
100%.
But still, yeah, those two have been stalwarts of Raw for the last year.
But the point stands, is that he went out there, and just him going out there was a test.
Yep.
How do they feel about you? And then from there, what do you do to engage them if they're not? It's all a test. 100% agree. And I feel they did the exact same thing with Ricochet and just found him wanting for some reason. They didn't like how he looked out there. They didn't like how he promoted something. But now Priest is on the line. Your turn, kid.
Yep.
What you got?
Show us what you got.
Show us what you got. Show me what you got.
Because he's not getting any younger. He's in his 40s if I'm not mistaken, isn't he?
He's at the 39 or 40 right now. Yeah, he's right around there. But exactly, like I agree. So fingers crossed, man, because I love the dude. I love his work. I think he's ideal to be a star if he can stay healthy. If he keeps doing what he's doing right now, I see no reason why they shouldn't keep pushing him and putting him in big scenarios like this. I don't know if he'll ever get the WWE championship. He certainly could. Nothing to prevent him from doing that. But I don't think he'll ever be like a Drew or a Lashley or a Roman.
I agree.
But I could definitely see him be like the next tier below, like a Seth or a CM Punk or someone like that.
Totally.
So, very cool. Very cool to see our boy have it happen for him.
Oh, my Gator guy. What's up, man? Checking in.
Gator! Oh, the booby champ.
Booby champ is in the house, y'all.
Wait, Nick. Silent assassin.
Oh, yeah.
Silent assassin. Silent. I can't be silent for too long, though, Nick, because RKBro is in the house. RKBro had their winning the WWE Raw Tag Team Championship celebration. And backstage, Riddle promised Randy he wasn't going to do anything stupid, like balloons or presents or celebrations or anything like that. And Riddle goes, "Would I do that, bro?" And then scoots away. And Randy just goes, "Oh, no." And sure enough, balloons, a present, celebration, big fireworks, which Randy seemed to like.
Yeah.
Randy's in there rolling his eyes the entire time. Riddle gives him his own custom scooter with Randy. Looks like it was painted on with like a brush.
Randy,
here's a scooter. Here's how you open it. And here's how you close it. And like, it's really cool, man. What he didn't know was the how Randy was going to use the scooter. Right? He thought Randy's going to scoot around in this thing. No. Because out comes AJ Styles to say, "This makes me sick. I can't stand this crap. You know what present I brought? Because Randy didn't bring anything, Riddle. I brought you a phenomenal forearm to the mush. That's what I brought you. Right, Amos?" Right. And so AJ Styles gets in the ring for a match with Matt Riddle. Fantastic main event. Love it when these guys work together. Obviously, since the first time Riddle was on main roster, they've worked together, and it's always been good. Another great match. The finish of which saw Amos again distracting Riddle, getting him off his game, and Randy coming to the rescue, pummeling, first of all, getting tossed by Amos, but then coming back with the scooter and pummeling Amos with the brand new scooter. Pummeled him. Beat him like a stockyard mule. Beat him down until Riddle was able to take a distracted AJ and put him in the Bro Derek Gotch style, baby. 1, 2, 3. Riddle picks up the win, and RK-Bro does a pose off to end the show over AJ Styles, who eats an RKO, by the way. He gets RKO to a huge pop as well, just for good measure. Yeah. And RK-Bro are united, standing in the ring, having a good time. We're now in the honeymoon of RK-Bro, Nick. What did you think about all this RK-Bro stuff? Are they still on the right track? Are they doing all this right? Did this all entertain you? Was there anything that you were nitpicking on? What did you think of all of this?
Well, the first thing that I wanted to applaud was the improv of AJ Styles coming out first, and then Omos to his music, and you could hear Riddle go, "Oh, come on, AJ," and he kind of just looked at him. Instead of bending down and doing his hoodie thing, he just put his hands out and was just glaring at him through the hoodie.
Yeah.
But then Omos comes out right behind him a few seconds later, and we realize AJ, they're standing at the top of the ramp. AJ doesn't have a mic. He just reaches behind open Omos's jacket and pulls a microphone out of it. I thought it's the little subtle stuff like that just really makes me
That
pop.
was nice.
I thought that was really nice. The rest of it, I'm still getting mixed signals from Randy, from his facial expressions, and is he really all in? And then he does good stuff and he shows me, but I'm still getting like those expressions of like, I'm not really sure I want to be doing this.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right? So when's he going to RKO him again out of nowhere?
But that's, to me, like you just said about the little things about AJ with the mic, that's the little things that makes this fun. A Viper is still a Viper, even if you got him in a tank at home and you're feeding him mice and you guys, oh, he's my little buddy. He's still a goddamn Viper. It's still Randy Orton. At some point, he's just going to kill Matt Riddle again. Yeah. But we've already found Riddle doesn't care if he gets RKO'd. He's still his bro. Like that. Sometimes bros RKO each other, right? Riddle's and like, how is Randy going to break this up? The last time we tried to break it up, Riddle pouted until Randy felt bad.
We were more into power bombs when I was coming up, but not.
You know what I'm saying? No,
but yeah, I get what you're saying.
Well,
we would jump off the stairs
you know?
onto a pair of mattresses with
I'll tell you right now,
power bomb.
I'd rather take an RKO than a power bomb any day. It's basically just like it's a laid out stunner, and we used to stunner the crap out of each other. But the bottom line here is that it's RKBro is over as hell. It's wildly entertaining. I love the way this whole segment played out.
So you're in SoCal. Of course Riddle's going to be over AF, you know?
Well, he was over in his hometown of Vegas, too. The man's just over as hell. I will say this. You know, I think I figured out why the vibes of their little shtick clicks with me so hard is because it reminds me of the Rock and Sock connection. You've got a dude who's, at this point, kind of a tweener. He cannot be bothered with the bullshit that this goofball, his partner, is putting him through. But at the same time, like, he's endearing. He can't walk away. Yeah, he like can't walk away from it. Like there is something there. The dynamic is very, very similar. And as we recall, that was an incredibly popular and successful team. So I can see why they wouldn't mind going back to a similar well on it, especially because this has enough different to not make it feel exact. I didn't put it right together. It wasn't until this celebration where I went, oh my God, Rock, this is your life. It's similar, like the way that Randy was playing some of this, where he was invested. He wasn't like completely no selling any of it. He was still invested in it. Like you said, a bunch of little expressions. It was fun and it kept things interesting and engaging. So they're doing a great job with it. And even though it is kind of a bit of a callback, it's a good one.
Yeah.
So not mad at that at
good stuff.
All. Love to see where they're going next. Who's challenging them next? Who knows?
Hey, Sheppy threw in a resubscribe with a tier 1 for 13 months. Oh my goodness. You know what that means. You get a little bit of chicken. Thank you very much, Sheppy. Welcome back, man. It says BWO fam. How we doing tonight? We're doing good, brother.
Good, brother. Thank you very much. Nick.
Yeah.
It's time.
Oh no.
I'm gonna drop my F-bomb.
Oh.
Cover your kids' ears. We got to talk about something that happened on this show. So, over the weekend, Carrion dropped the NXT title to Samoa Joe, and after the show ended, was roundly jeered by the what I was about to say Full Sail, by the CWC crowd, chanting Jeff Hardy, saying nah, hey, goodbye. Definitely did not get a popular exit. And whatever you think about the crowd kind of going into business for themselves there, I can't say that the company has done him any service on the main roster up until this point. But we had hopes, Nick, that once he was out of NXT and was free and clear, they could try to chart a new path for him on the main roster. They could say, all right, well, now that he's free of NXT, free of the title belt, we can do something new and exciting with Karrion Kross to make this new audience appreciate him more. And apparently their idea for that was to dress him up. I called this, Nick, When he came out in those little gladiator trunks, I was like, oh shit, Vince is going to see those. Vince saw those. Because Karrion Kross came out looking like Shredder had hate-fucked Lord Humongous from Mad Max.
I am the Humongous. I give you safe passage across the wastelands.
Oh my God. Here's the thing. If you look at WWE history, it's actually more of a callback to Demolition between the mask and then he's got these cross straps in the front. I mean, I'm not saying it doesn't look like Mr. Krabs in Daddy's, like Pat Patterson's old bondage gear. It does. But it's still like, I get they were trying to go for Demolition, but instead they got Sex Dungeon Jason.
Ugh.
So it's so not a good look, man. Like in Zardoz, at least they had like the same kind of cross straps. It was a bandolero. He kept bullets in them. He just has a leather straps across his chest now, just because I think Vince watches different gladiator movies than you and I do, Nick. Like we watched Spartacus. He watched Spartacus.
Do you want to know?
This is what we got as a result.
Do you want to know what they really thought about it? And thank you, Ryan, on YouTube for the heads up on this. This didn't even make the Hulu cut.
Of course. Oh, I don't doubt it.
You're debuting a new superstar with a new gimmick.
Yeah.
And you leave it off of the Hulu cut.
Oh, yeah.
Oh.
Vince said, bring out the gimp.
Exactly.
And that's
what I thought.
I probably shouldn't put this on Hulu.
When I saw it, that was my first thought.
This isn't a gimmick. This is a gimmick.
It would have been better if he had come out in a full leather gimp suit with like a zipper mouth and, just... it would have been better than this. I don't know what this is.
This BDSM Shao Kahn is what this is. When I saw that, I know in the Discord, people were saying I was going to freak out. You know what my reaction was when I saw this? Yeah. Oh, you poor bastard. That was my reaction. Oh, my God.
Mine was more along the lines of, oh, no.
Oh, my God.
Oh, no.
I mean, we can hope that he follows in the footsteps of illustrious legend Ron Farouk Simmons when he came out looking like a big blue gladiator from the streets. And they eventually were like, wait a minute, this looks dumb. We probably shouldn't do this. There's a reason we got no one to reference in wrestling since the mid-'90s, because this is a mid-'90s gimmick. This is so dumb. This is like Bludgeon Brothers, where we were like, well, at least the guys who are the Bludgeon Brothers are cool, and they are badass, and they're booking them like studs, so it kind of gets over this stupid-ass gimmick. This is a stupid-ass gimmick. It's so bad. It makes him look so... He doesn't look... Lord Humongous in Mad Max was so jacked, he looked good in his BDSM meets Jason outfit. Kross does not look good. It looks too big for him.
The straps were falling off of his shoulders. The mask would look like it was 3 times too wide on his head. At least Humongous, it was like tied up against his face and all that stuff, right?
Dude, that mask, it looks like they went to the arts and crafts. It looks like they went to Michael's and got some like arts and crafts and hot glued it together and like got some like bling from... They got like some rivets from Home Depot and put it. Oh my God. Oh, this poor bastard. Karrion Kross, when you were kicking ass in Bloodsport, did you think you were going to go to WWE and this was going to happen? Oh my God. Oh.
Can we have a real conversation about what has happened to Scarlett and why she has been discarded? Was it too risque with her lingerie and half her butt hanging out in her stuff? Like the nails and all this kind of stuff. Like, was it too scary for main roster? And I say that, knowing that we've had The Fiend and Alexa Bliss for the last 2 years.
You have Eva Marie running around in her stuff, and Scarlett can't run around in hers? No, nonsense, BS. That ain't it. Especially with Johnny Ace running the place.
Yeah,
they have no problem with boobs and butts on the main roster. You have the worst thing that Scarlett dressed in. Sable outdid her back in the day by a mile.
Yeah.
All right. There's no way that they're looking at Scarlett and going, well, that's too risque for our young crowd up here on the main roster. No, there's no way. They're sitting there going, they're probably going, she's so hot, let's repackage her and have her be her own gimmick, because we're going more into the kind of diva style with Eva Marie and stuff. they're going to make her a diva. That's my guess. They're going to repackage her as a diva. Like when they split Zelina from Andrade. Why would you have her split from him when she is the reason that he is great? Because she can be his mouthpiece, and their package together was phenomenal. And then all of a sudden they're like, no, Zelina, you're a wrestler. And we're like, how? How is she better as a wrestler than as his mouthpiece when that was killer, having her as his mouthpiece? What are you doing? But here we are, Karrion Kross, all alone, coming out looking like Summer's boyfriend Hemorrhage, and not with no Scarlet. So yeah, it was a very quick match. Kross thought he was going to fight the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, but he wasn't. He got Ricochet instead. And he beat up Ricochet pretty quickly, put him in the cross jacket, 1, 2, Ricochet weakly tapped out. Holy crap, Nick. We thought they buried this dude when they had him lose to Jeff Hardy in his first match on the main roster.
I never saw this coming.
Man, you know what? I kind of did. Remember, because I did say, don't let Vince see the Spartacus gear. He's going to have him out in full. Yep. You can go back and find it on the show. I said he's going to have him in full Spartacus gear in no time. I was joking. I was like half joking. I was like, ha, because that's what Vince would do. Holy shit, he's still doing it. Oh my God, he did it. Wow. Okay. This obviously blew up online, roundly torched online. How long do they stick with this before they're like, forget it, abort, or do they go, no, you're a big stud, you stick with it, you get it over? What do you think happens?
We haven't seen Jackson Riker in weeks, and he was whipping himself to pay penance or whatever. Shaved his beard, shaved his hair off, and all this stuff. Gone. Haven't seen him since.
Well, now he's on Twitter talking about how the persecuted shall get into heaven. So whatever that means.
Fine. Now we've got Karrion Kross, who came in like a world ender into NXT, and now he wants to give you gasoline in the wasteland. I can't get past the humongous. It's so
actually,
funny.
It's funny. Kyle, right at the top of the show, said, thank you for the 100 bits, Kyle. He said, Karrion Kross to the WWE Universe last night. Just walk away. Leave Raw and all the talent you love and just walk away, and WWE Creative will let you live, as he cosplays Lord Humongous. Yeah, that was the first thing I think a lot of people thought about was Karrion Kross up there being, you disobey me, you puppy.
Now, if he had come out on like a dune buggy, just sat in up in the back of it, and he had like these little crazy drivers that had the white polish on their face and stuff.
You're saying go all the way into it. Go all the way into it.
Fucking take it to 11 if you're gonna do some dumb shit like this. Like,
have him be the leader of. Look, they've already got T-Bar and Mace coming out in Mad Max shit. Call up Ember Moon when she's healthy again. She comes out in Mad Max shit. Pull them out on a truck. Have Karrion Kross be their leader. There's a faction.
Find some beat up piece of shit like 1980s Toyota pickup and just have him sit in some kind of metal chair in the back of it and just be driven down to the ring every time. I am the Kross.
Get the stupid Jeep that Triple H always invades WCW and main roster with from NXT. And he says is a tank. Go get that. If you're going to do it, go all the way.
You're phoning this in. Half-ass it. Go full-ass it.
Don't have Karrion Kross go shopping in West Hollywood the day before the show and get an ill-fitting bondage gear. Go all the way. Like, get him a nice one. Do this right. Come on now. If you're going to be stupid, go full stupid.
Just take it to 11. Yeah.
Come on. Don't go half-ass.
We will give you...
Always
go full ass. We will give you a break if you do something like this, but like fully invest in it. Like, look at Nikki ASH, for example. There was a lot of confusion about what in the hell is she wearing, but when after a couple of weeks, she was all in on it. She explained it, all of that stuff, right? We got no mic time. We got no explanation. We got no understanding. This is just a guy walking out in a creepy Michaels BDSM home kit.
I really do relate this to the Bludgeon Brothers.
Yeah.
Right? Because it's a really, like, they're Warcraft cosplayers, right? And it was so dumb and so out of step with everything else going on in WWE. It was like these throwback 90s gimmick wrestlers coming out. But both those guys were so badass, and they added so many little touches to it, and it did improve a lot from where it first began. But man, it was really dumb when it first began, and we were like, "Oh, for crying out loud!"
So here's a question.
But they went all the way into it. They were completely committed to it, and it worked. And Nikki Ash, like we said, like a lot of people didn't buy into it, but a lot of people did because she was so into it. Now the booking is undermining her. We'll talk about that next. But at the same time, like this, maybe look, you're right. First week, first impressions. Maybe they will fix this. Maybe there are ways to fix this. Maybe they'll get a better helmet, or they'll get better fitting gear. Maybe they'll have him come out in the back of a truck. There are ways to make this so insane that we can't deny it. That's what we're saying.
Bludgeon
right?
Brothers came out with hammers. Next week, does he come out with a shield and like a giant battle axe?
Right? With like a tiger. Have him come with a tiger.
Oh, God.
With a tiger.
Just riding just.
It's too bad Sheamus already has the "Art thou not entertained" line. You know, you could steal that. We're gonna have a whole angle where like everyone's called to the ring, and Vince is like, "All right, who's this NXT champ who's in here?" And they all stand up and go, "I am Carrion Cross.
Yeah.
I am Carrion Cross. I am Carrion Cross." And Vince is like, "Rah! I don't know which one he is." Somewhere Charlton Heston got that. Leave me alone. Oh no, sorry. Kirk Douglas. My bad. Kirk Douglas was Spartacus. Jeez, screwed up there. Anyway, the bottom line is, oh God, is the bottom line. Oh God. We shall see.
I'm scared. I am scared.
We're saying we shall see. This is like watching a boat sink.
Well, I mean, if Nick Khan has his druthers, we're going to get a 4-hour Raw, so maybe we can pull off the half-hour Mad Max show with Lord Cross.
Maybe they're watching the old Swords and Sandals epics. They're like, we can go 4 hours. They did. Come on.
Oh, God.
Let's go.
No.
Let's go with this. Anyway, all right. Enough beating up poor Karrion Kross. He's been through enough. He's had a rough weekend. Oh, poor bastard. Let's go over and talk about the women's division, Nick. Charlotte Flair came to the ring and basically said, hey, I'm Charlotte. I am the best. I'm the best woman. I'm the 12-time champ now. I am the greatest in this company. No one's better than me. No one can beat me. I'll always get the title back. Look at me. I'm perfect. I don't need family. I don't need friends. I don't need anything except for this title. And not a single line of it was a lie. Because WWE obviously 100% believes everything she says. It wasn't even a heel promo. It was more like to me, Nick, it was more like a behind the scenes promo. Like, this is what you are.
Not going to lie, I expected Becky Lynch's music to hit. Even though she is on SmackDown.
And a heel, allegedly.
Yeah, I expected some kind of confrontation. So,
I did go back and look at Becky beating Bianca, and that was a cheap shot she gave her. They went for a shake, and then she, like a pre-match shake, and she just clocked her in the face and finished her. So you could argue that she cheap shotted her, and they might go with that storyline where Bianca's like, dude, I had respect for you, and you punked me out.
Come hell or high water, they're going to make Becky Lynch heel, whether we want it or not.
What are you? Yeah, well, Vince wanted her heel.
Yep.
Oh, I'm sorry.
We're just we're resetting things and rewinding the clock 2 years. That's all. That's all.
She's the number one babyface in a company that has a really hard time booking and keeping babyfaces. Yes, cool. She's a heel because the fans didn't want her heel 2 years ago. This is my revenge.
Yeah, but what about that really good babyface who actually looks like a star? Yeah, no, her. Have Becky Lynch come out and squash her.
Yeah, that's going to be interesting. We're going to have a fun SmackDown this week, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to have a fun. That's going to be interesting SmackDown. I am salivating for SmackDown. Say what you will, they have my attention. Charlotte had my attention for this entire speech because I was just sitting there going, where's the lie?
Yeah, there's not.
Where is the lie?
No.
There's not a lie. At this point, like, okay, WWE, you've made your point. Charlotte, the best, Charlotte number one. I'll never bet against her again. Like, okay, cool. Now what? Well, apparently Alexa Bliss is now what? Because she came out with Lily to say, hey, we're just coming to say hi and kind of look at you. What?
Make funny faces.
You just had Charlotte.
Do the dog head tilt side to side.
You had Charlotte beat Nikki and Rhea, pin Nikki, and call her a grubby pretender in this speech, murdering, by the way, the whole point of Nikki Ash's whole gimmick, right? Completely undermining the message of her gimmick in the process. And then saying, no little pretender like that is going to take me out. Along comes 5-foot Alexa Bliss and says, well, I have a doll. If we have Alexa versus Charlotte as a feud, what in the world is going to happen here? How do you see that going down?
Of all people that could end that, excuse me.
You got
Frog's
a little
back.
verklempt over there. Yeah.
Of all people that could end the Alexa Bliss Lily thing, yeah, Charlotte. If that's the way we're going to go about it, if that's going to be the way that the Alexa Bliss thing, just take it out back and shoot it. You give it, feed her to Charlotte.
It's weird because they were testing out how much Lily and Alexa stuff sold over SummerSlam weekend. I don't know if they're still tallying it up, but the fact that they're going to put Alexa into a feud with their top woman in the company. And Alexa has always been like really obviously very high thought of by the company. I don't know, like there's some people we go, who peed, like whose coffee did he pee in? Alexa, I'm like, who did she make coffee that was really good? Yeah. Because she's always had like just that always been protected, always been taken care of, which is fine. She should be. She's extremely talented. There's a lot of other women. I'm like, okay, why her and not these other women who are also really good in a very similar way and might even be better wrestlers, or even better promos. I mean, Alexa's a fantastic promo. Don't get me wrong, but it is bizarre. But here we are, Alexa versus Charlotte. This is a really weird setup because Alexa, we're still not entirely sure what's going on with her. They've lost the entire plot for the doll thing because they no longer have a captaining the gimmick like you had before. So now it's just kind of this weird, sometimes Lily has supernatural powers, sometimes she's just a doll, sometimes Alexa Bliss is invulnerable, sometimes she's not, sometimes she's got these voodoo powers where she can control people's minds, sometimes she's telekinetic, and then other times she can get beat up by Eva freaking Marie. So
they haven't really told us what they wanted us to think about Alexa yet. They're just experimenting.
They're breaking their own rules, and as a horror movie guy, you can't break the rules. You make the rules, you stick to the rules, otherwise people tune out.
Yep.
And that's what's happening here. So with her against Charlotte, I'm sitting there going, well, how are they going to work this? Is Charlotte out there saying she's the best and then Alexa's going to come along and try to counteract that? I don't know. It's a very weird proposition. Yeah. But then again, Nick, who else do they have?
I mean,
I would say Rhea or Nikki, but they're busy in the tag
That's all they've
division.
been doing the last 3 months. Let me get one from Kyle real quick. 300 bits. Thanks, sir. Said I immediately went off the moment Alexa came out. It's bad enough we have to put up with this same Charlotte nonsense that has been unchanged since debuting in 2015. Now we have to deal with the dumb doll and failed spooky gimmick that gets no reaction. F this nonsense. I would take any rematch you have over Alexa Bliss like this in the title picture.
I'm not going to lie. I'm intrigued the way I'm intrigued when two trains are running towards each other. I'm like, oh, this might not be good. But at the same time, like I'm definitely like, oh shit. Really? And this is what you guys going to do? All right.
The pessimist in me says this is how they're going to kill the gimmick. They're going to have Charlotte
That sounds like the optimist. That sounds like
depending on your subjective viewpoint, that might be the optimistic option.
Again, there are some people that love the Alexa and Lily
thing. She was tapping the other people that had the dolls on the ramp. She was like having the dolls kiss or something. They were like tapping. I don't know.
I have not seen the breakdowns of merch right now in terms of how much the Lily and Alexa stuff is selling. So I don't know. But if it's selling well, they ain't going to kill that gimmick.
Yeah, I think it was Deuce that was reporting on the in the Facebook group about the experience at Allegiant. And he said that they had their own merch system.
Right.
They've got their own stuff. They didn't. So when the credit card machines all went down in the stadium and everything, it didn't affect their merch sales.
You think this is the first time WWE's worked a stadium where the stadium's shit went down and WWE's like, well, we're still
We
selling
ain't
our
doing
shit.
that shit. Hook it up to the
They probably
satellite
have-
trucks.
They probably had one time when they lost money because the stadium let them down, and from then on they were like, cool, we're getting our own processing system, we're bringing it all in, we're not losing that money because the stadium doesn't know what it's doing, or because focus goes down all day. Okay, so the Lily and Charlotte thing, I don't know where they're going to go with that. With Charlotte building herself up so much and being so confident, it makes me wonder if it's going to be a whole thing where Lily starts like psychologically breaking down Charlotte. Because at this point, you have to have Charlotte have some vulnerabilities, or the character is going to become even more stale than it already is to a lot of the fans. Yeah. And that's really my big criticism here, is that Charlotte is saying, I'm the best, I have no flaws. And her booking has backed her up. She's not wrong. She is that talented. She is that good of a wrestler. She is their number one star, maybe aside from Becky Lynch, in the women's division. She's absolutely she's probably the greatest women's star in the world, except for, and I can't argue with that. She has the presence. She has the look. She has everything. And with their booking on top of it, it means that when she says she's the best and no one can touch her, I can't argue with it. I can't. So but the problem then is that's boring, right? An unbeatable monster is boring. It's got to have a weak spot. It's got to have some sort of weakness. It's got to be able to show some sort of vulnerability. Otherwise, we're not going to care because we already know the inevitable.
We've got two unbeatable monsters in Lashley and Roman Reigns right now, but you're surrounding them with believable foes.
And Charlotte's not unbeatable.
True.
She just will always come back and get the title again.
Well, it's not
She's
even about
relentless.
that. It's like they've been intermingling her with Rhea and more recently Nikki Ash for the last 3 months. Like it's stale, as you said. There's nothing fresh about it. There's not new challengers showing up. So if I'm looking for a silver lining, a new challenger has entered the fray.
I'll absolutely take that as a positive.
And we'll see what gets made of it. We've got Extreme Rules coming up. Alexa Bliss and her craziness there could be something there.
Right.
Some extreme stipulation, like we'll have a dollhouse match, and you have to, I don't know.
Oh, no.
Right? Nick booking is going to win.
Playground match.
We've had the funhouse matches. Now we get the dollhouse match.
Oh, no. Nick, shut up. You're going to give them an idea.
Yeah. Hopefully WWE Creative is not in the chat. They are prone to show up from time to time.
They do listen. Yep. I mentioned that Rhea and Nikki were in the tag division. I didn't lie. Nikki said, hey, Rhea was looking bummed. Nikki was looking bummed. And Nikki said, hey, Rhea, I'm down because I lost. But at the same time, I'm eternally optimistic and always trying to, bounce back. How would you feel about being in a tag team and whooping up on Nia and Shayna? And Rhea goes, that sounds like, you know what? I'm kind of down too. Let's go beat some people up together. All right, cute. Then we also see Nia and Shayna, who I could have sworn broke up in a nasty little angle, but apparently Creative had nothing else for them, so they're back together. Yay! Nia and Shayna backstage. Shayna goes, look, if we're on the same page, we're unbeatable. and Nia says, you're right. Let's go out there and beat up Rhea and Nikki Ash. Fast forward to the end of the match, which was fine. It was a fine match. Nikki Ash doing a beautiful crossbody to Nia Jax on the outside to hold her out of the ring, while Rhea gave a riptide to, you guessed it, jobber du jour Shayna Baszler, and she eats yet another pin. I believe now the losingest star on Raw, and has been for a while. I think she actually might. I think she still holds the record for the most losses this year on Raw, the fewest wins, worst record. So yeah, Rhea and Nikki then standing tall at the end. Nick, tag team? You think they could go for the gold?
No.
What would you think about that?
Stop doing this.
What else are they going to do? That's a way to keep them out of the title picture? It's a way to...
I don't want Rhea Ripley out of the title picture. She needs reps.
You just said...
She needs to work.
And so send her to the tag division where she can work with Nikki Ash. She can get a few more reps. She can work on her character. They're going to have character segments between the two of them. They both need to get their characters over more. This is a way to do that. I see this as a net positive. Take them out of the title picture for a while. Rest that, because it's been too much of them in the title picture. You just said that.
I know. You know what they need?
take
They
them out for a
need
while.
more than they really need a mid-card title for the women's division of some sort.
It's the tag
First of all, they
titles.
need more women on the roster. That's
The tag titles are the mid-card titles.
then they've only been held by like 2 teams over the last year.
Like 5.
It doesn't seem that way. It doesn't feel that way. It's feeling
Let's
like
see.
it's been.
Hold on. Bailey, Sasha. You had Nia and Shayna. You had Natalya and Tamina. And I'm missing anybody? Is it only
So
3?
3.
Are there any other women's tag teams?
I honestly wasn't counting
Mandy
Becky and
and
Sasha.
Mandy and Dana
Bailey and Sasha.
didn't win.
Nia and Shayna, and then more recently Tamina and Natalya have basically just run this thing ragged, this tag championships, and I just don't see any benefit to involving them.
Kabuki Wars. That's 2 years ago.
I don't see any benefit to bringing Rhea and Nikki Ash into the tag division. What they need is more female superstars that get more TV time, and they need I think they need a mid-card title. I don't agree that the tag titles are considered a mid-card title. They need another singles title. I think they need one in NXT as well.
They can barely find enough women to fill out the existing divisions,
understand.
let alone another title at this point. Having the tag titles allows you to elevate people like, for a time, Nia and Shayna, for a time, Bailey and Sasha, to keep them busy doing stuff when they weren't hoarding all the titles. Here, you have an option to take 2 people who were in the main event, Rhea Ripley especially, and take them just a bit aside from the main event while still keeping them in a title picture. Get them some reps, get them TV time that has meaning, some meaning at least, some stakes.
The women's tag division has meaning.
It's got more meaning than just running around doing nothing else. Like it's got more meaning than just random singles matches
Alexa
at this
Bliss
point.
has done more with her character, nowhere near a title, than any of the tag division stuff has done in a year.
Because she's given more of a character to work with. Rhea doesn't have a character. Nikki Ash has a character. She needs to
Then
get it
let's
over.
address
They're on
the root
opposite ends of the
problem.
spectrum. They're on the opposite ends of the spectrum. One has a character that's completely constructed but needs to get over. One is really over but has no character. Have them meet in the middle, be a tag team, work their ish out, get over with the crowd. I think this is the right decision.
Yeah, I think going to work the tag division is a death knell, but I just
I guess
don't
we'll
buy
see.
it. Craig over in YouTube, what's up, man? And everybody else
What's up,
over
dude?
there on
Thank
YouTube asked, "Where's Lacey Evans?" And I went and looked while we were talking about Rhea and Nikki. She hasn't sent a tweet since July 15th. And all that was kind of a retweet of what was going on Money in the Bank. I haven't been able to find or see anything on a status on Lacey Evans in quite a while. The only thing I've heard is Ric Flair was on Ariel Helwani's show and said he was very uncomfortable with the Lacey Evans angle. So I don't know where Lacey is. It would be. I understand. I know she was pregnant. I just don't know anything about the details of like when was she due? Has she had it yet? When is she expected back? Like none of that stuff has surfaced. So not sure yet.
That angle was poor guy. That angle was really uncomfortable.
Oh yeah, you could see
it was just
even for.
We were all cringing. We were all cringing. We were all watching and going, "Oh, really, guys? Really? This is."
We're gonna do a sugar daddy angle in 2021. All right. Okay. Okay.
It's such good shit. But all right. I mean, I swear to God, I think Lacey got pregnant just to get out of the angle.
I mean,
Shit.
Here's the other thing.
No proof of that. Total speculation.
Take all the other stuff away. You definitely need more relevant female superstars that can be viewed as relevant threats in the division.
Yes.
And
Agreed.
they've done the double whammy of not only making most of them that weren't Charlotte, Rhea, Nikki, Becky, Bianca, Sasha, they're making them irrelevant. You've also released quite a bit of them, or have sent them down to the tag team division to waddle in the mud with Shayna and Nia and Tamina and Natalya.
Or you've made them look irrelevant, like Dana Brooke, Mia Yim,
all of them.
Liv Morgan, who had a short push and then is gone again. You know, it's not like you don't have women. You're just not using them well. Full stop.
Oh, I'm sorry. I
Kyle
forgot
threw
to
another
mention
100 bits.
they've got Eva Marie, too.
Yeah, she was on, and she was on the pay-per-view. She was on the pay-per-view.
She had a match.
Kyle Cotton, thank you, sir. Through another 100 bits, he said, I'm conflicted about this Rhea and Nikki team. And one aspect, it keeps them on TV. On the other, it puts them in the dead end tag division. You agree with Nick?
Thank
okay. The one positive about this is Rhea and Nikki are charismatic and talented enough in ring to make this Vegeta and Goku relationship work. But again, we're back to two challenging teams in Raw and SmackDown and creative indecision on who should beat the cross-brand champ. Hope to God Rhea wins Queen of the Ring. Yeah, I agree with. They're both charismatic. I think this angle can get over. And again, if the tag team division is dead end, it wasn't when the right people held the belts. When they had things going on there. If you've got Rhea and Nikki getting the belts, I think it actually will make the tag team division more interesting because they're holding it. The Raw tag team division is more interesting with RKBro holding the tag titles.
Totally.
People are more invested, right? Same thing here.
I would give a hat tip to Shotzi and Knox for the next tag team champions. Myself.
They're too new. They're too new and they're too alternative.
Oh, so we're okay. So they're too new. So we're gonna take two single stars that were just in the that were just the champ, and we're gonna throw that. We're gonna wad them up into a tag division that means nothing. Cool.
I thought you watched years and years of WWE, dude. I thought this is
tag titles have been around for like 2 years.
This is how they do it.
It just doesn't make any sense to me. That's all.
Jinder Mahal does it too. He crushes Mansoor, beats him up until he gets the DQ finish. The ref has to call for the bell, and outside, Mustafa Ali is disappointed because he's like, you want to do it your way, you're going to get beat down by this monster because he's mad because he lost to Drew. Cool. Doudrop was backstage getting interviewed about how she hated Eva Marie. She got jumped by Eva Marie, who was able to somehow get a road case into a ring set and smash Doudrop with it. Doudrop said she likes the name, though, Nick. Can we officially now call her Doudrop now that she's accepted it and she's going to make it? And she's got okay. So next week we're getting Doudrop versus Eva Marie. Hopefully they run this as quickly as possible. Doudrop can break away and actually be amazing and possibly be a contender for Charlotte. She's really good. She's got, and they're building her like a monster, like a female Otis. They could make her a contender.
Yep.
They wanted to. They could do it. It's totally
Pull the
possible.
Do it.
Pull the trigger. Let's do it. And finally, Reggie, 24/7 championship, still putting out good segments. This week, he's talking about how he used to get beat up by bullies in the neighborhood, so he had to be fast and wily. Pulls up to an ice cream truck, and sure enough, the ghillie suit R-Truth is there, as well as Trash Can Tozawa. They both pop up, and then he's got an ice cream cone ready for both of them, so they get distracted by ice cream because, really, who doesn't? And is able to make his escape, climbs a tree, jumps out of the tree, springs onto the top of a truck.
The ice cream truck.
At the ice cream truck, and then does a beautiful flip off the truck, and then runs into the truck and drives away in it, bringing out a very fat man from his RV.
Screaming, me, as he gets away.
Yeah, and telling him this out the window as he goes. Reggie, there are people not in the U.S. who watch this, sir. You can't be throwing that up willy-nilly. Reggie trying to be the U.K. Stone Cold out here. Come on now, sir. And, of course, Tozawa and R-Truth left yelling at each other. These are fun, man. I'm not mad at these.
Yeah.
They're entertaining. Reggie does some cool shit. Yeah, it's cotton candy. It's sending the clowns. Yeah,
who knew that Reggie would be maybe the best 24/7 champion?
Certainly one of the better ones.
Other than R-Truth, I can't think of any others.
Drake Maverick. That was a lot of fun when they were doing all the stuff with him.
Yeah, that's true.
He was obsessed with it.
Oh, him and trying to get his marital vows and all that stuff. Yeah, that was good.
You got to go way back because they've been in a creative rut with 24/7 for a while. I feel like this is the best that they've done in a while. I'm glad to see it. So thank goodness. Nick, any more catching up, or do we move on to a little bit of positivity?
We're moving on.
All right, then. Let's do it because, ladies and gentlemen, it's that time on the show where we got to think back on the last couple of days of wrestling and give you what we like to call our moment of positivity.
The
moment of positivity brought to you by Sean Clark. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. It is a time on the show where we have to think back over the last couple days and find something that made us smile, find something that made us laugh, something that's positive, something that we can look at and say, that was a really cool thing. We want to share it with all of you and end this show on a little bit of an up note so we don't go back out in the world anything else but smiles on our faces. Nick, what was your moment of positivity for this week?
I said
you can actually, we haven't done one since Friday, so we got the whole weekend of pay-per-view. All right.
I'm going back to Sunday.
Attaboy.
I'm going back to Sunday because I said some things on the recap show about the Ilya Dragunov Walter match. If you guys were here and you remember, I said that I didn't really like the way that finished.
Correct. We had a big argument about it.
We did. I have watched the match twice more, and I'd like to officially retract my statements. If you go back and watch almost move for move the last 5 minutes of the match, it is almost exactly what I described, what I wanted it to be, where it was just him relentlessly hammering away, headlock, 3 times he got him into a headlock, and then that final time where Walter tapped out, it was the one where he got really under his neck and wrenched back, folded him back, picked Walter up off his feet.
With his full body weight
just insta-tap like that. And part of me went, yeah, all right. Yeah, all right.
Yep.
Brilliant. And is it a little bit David and Goliath? Is it a little bit unbelievable? Sure. But in the moment, it was brilliantly executed. So that was mine. I wanted to come back and make sure I brought that up. I love it.
Dude, you saying that might be mine. Seriously, because I watched that match a couple of times too, and just the last 5 minutes are just such testosterone-fueled aggression, joyful. That's why. So one of the things I watch wrestling is for dudes just going absolutely buck wild and beating the shit out of their opponent until the opponent cannot take anymore. I love the fact that if you look at who Walter is, he's a throwback wrestler who is so stiff and so brutal, any of his moves can beat you. He can beat you with a lariat. He can beat you with a chest slap. He's that dude. He doesn't have a finishing move because they're all finishing moves. And so for you to get into a ring with that guy, you've got to be someone who can withstand an insane amount of punishment. And that's literally Dragunov's gimmick. I'm a guy, the harder you hit me, the angrier I get, the stronger I get, the more I come back for more. And the first time Walter was just, Ilya wasn't ready for it or whatever. And Ilya's story is he had to go to this dark place and get a little crazy to be able to tap into that psychotic power that he has. And you can see the moment in this match. There's a definitive moment where Walter gives like his last good shot. And Dragunov just absorbs it. And you can see Walter's face changes where he just goes,
I'm in trouble. I'm in danger.
I'm screwed. I've given this guy every shot I have. And he's just come back. And then after that, it was just Dragunov beating the absolute shit out of him for 2 minutes. Oh, that match was so freaking good. I might go watch it again after this show. Yeah, it's
when I watched it last night, I couldn't start Raw on time, so I had to wait a little bit. But I was working on something else, and on the left monitor, I've always got something playing over here, whether it's a movie or TV show, or most of the time it's wrestling of some sort. But I just said, I want to watch NXT TakeOver again. It was really good. So I put it on and going through the show and all that stuff, and we get to that match, and I find myself doing what I'm doing over here, and I all of a sudden my eyes are cutting over, and whatever I was working on, I found myself just drawn in, right? So I got to the end of it, and I was like, all right, I'm going to go back and put this properly on. I went out and put it on the TV, and I for the first time, really, like, because when we were watching it on Sunday, I was distracted, right? I was in Discord, I was looking stuff up, I was had one eye on it and kind of doing. Watching it properly, move by move, the psychology of the match, the move by move breakdown, the speed breakdowns where they slowed it down and ramped it back up, and all this, like, it's so far it's my match of the year.
Beat that.
So far it's my match of the year.
I've had a couple of matches of the year so far where I'm like, and this is, I'd have to go back and rewatch them all. That's how good they all were. And this is in contention for the top. It's pretty much at this point I got to go back and watch the other matches to see if they hold up.
I guess what I'm trying to say is, like, it's easy to look at it as a brutal, stiff, hard-hitting match. That's on the surface. Go back and watch it 1 or 2 layers deeper than that. Go look at how the emotions, the selling, the psychology of the match, the ramping up, and like it is perfect. It's a flawless match from a wrestling.
There's like
perspective.
there's one spot where they like slip a little bit, but it's like you can't even,
I don't even remember
diss
that.
them for that because I've
seen it 3 times in the last 48 hours.
Yeah, it's nearly a flawless match. It's incredible. And honestly, I meant to say it on Sunday, but I'm going to say it now before I get my mop out. And that is that match is actually, it's time, Nick. It's woo.
What a maneuver.
It's my wham of the week.
Yes.
It's that match, the slap, the chop to Ilya Dragunov's back. And you know the one I'm talking about, which is one of the loudest slaps I've ever heard. When he chops him in the back, and it's the knell. It's like the death knell. It's the rest, and that's the thing. The What a Maneuver is about Walter's chops, because he is notorious. There's a lot of strong strikers out there, right? Roderick Strong recently just absolutely hamburgered Ilya Dragunov's chest, but look at what Walter did to him. Walter's chops, and I've been there live for his chops. You have too.
They echo throughout the whole place.
You can feel them. They're terrifying. We saw a whole match.
Was it Brody King he was wrestling?
Brody King, and the whole first third of the match.
Who is not a small man.
No, he's a big meat castle himself. And the first third of the match was just like, when is Walter going to chop him? And it was Brody trying to avoid the chop. And you think, and like I want to actually relate it to Okada's Rainmaker, in the sense that a lot of people say your finisher is a freaking lariat. Really? It's that simple of a move. Look at the amount of story that Okada is able to get out of such a simple move. And I look at Walter, and as I just said, every one of his moves is a finishing move, but there are some moves that are more iconic than others, and his chop is definitely an iconic move. To the point where, like, I remember he used to get a pop whenever time he would chop somebody. When he chopped Will Ospreay for the first time when they faced each other in, I think it was it WCPW? When they faced each other, and like the very first time that Walter busted out the chop, he got a pop. Because it's one of his iconic moves. Aside from Ric Flair, who else has a chop be that iconic?
Iconic, I don't know. That make that much of it. I mean, you got the Grizzly Magnum from Keith Lee.
Sure, a double overhand chop is a little bit more spice to it.
It's not what he's known for. He's known for the pounce.
No.
He's known for the spirit bomb, right?
It's like saying Baron Corbin's known for the deep six.
Right.
You know what I mean? It's a signature move. And you could argue that Walter's chop is a signature move, but it's also more than that, because it's indicative of Walter's whole philosophy, of his whole gimmick. It is, in a sense, a microcosm of his psychology as a wrestler. Simplicity, brutality. And to have that chop then be escalated to one on the back while the guy's against the ropes, like a hangman chop. What a maneuver. Yeah. What a moment in that match. And so simple. And I just wanted to point that out. Thank you, Chris Jenkins, for the idea of he's the wham man.
The innovator of the wham.
The innovator of the
Wake
Nova.
Me up before you go.
So there it is. My moment of positivity actually is the Miz and Morrison breakup. I'm very excited for this. I'm actually really pumped for this. I think this could be great. I love John Morrison. Johnny Nitro. I've loved him for a while. Johnny Mundo.
Johnny Impact.
Johnny Blackcraft. Whatever. All of them. I'm very excited to see what they do with him. I'm excited to see the Miz and Morrison breakup angle. I thought they executed it perfectly. That's it. It's a very simple one. I loved the fact that we're doing it and they did it right.
They did it right.
So
hey, Kyle
that is my moment of positivity.
Walter and Dragunov, that's my mop of the year. All the feels with that match. Dragunov standing on Walter, hoisting the title, is now my phone's lock screen. That's why I watch wrestling in one match from story and in ring.
He stood on him. Like the feeling of overcoming odds in that match and just absolute just triumph. Holy shit. And also I love I know you dissed it on Sunday. I love the fact that he tapped out Walter. Like that it just shows how much he dominated him at the end. And it was an insta tap. And he insta tapped him. Like after that reign, it makes it such a big deal because it was an insta tap. And you can see building up to that, how he made it a big deal that Walter would insta tap.
It was also one of the other things I noticed that I didn't notice on Sunday night in the moment was if you go back and look at it again, that where he wrenched him back.
Yes.
He also screams. And it's one of those, this is my last shot. I've got to give it everything I've got sort of screams. And it's almost like, die! Like, die, you big piece of shit! Just die! Right? That's what I was, and I didn't pick that up in the moment on Sunday night, but when you go back and watch it, you can just like, he has literally thrown everything in the kitchen sink he can at Walter, and he just won't die. And that last wrench up was just, just tap, tap, tap. You're like, oh my God.
I'm going to watch the match.
Yeah, you have to go back and watch it again with all of this context. And seriously, like in sections, like pause it and allow yourself to reflect like every 3 to 5 minutes. Just give yourself a breath to reflect on what has transpired, where they are in the match and all that stuff. It is brilliant if you really break it down. Move by move, all of that kind of stuff. It's so good. So good. All right, guys. Well, there is Raw. We're going to take a quick break, and we'll be back for the mailbag. Let's call we'll call it 35 after. Whatever time zone you're in. 35 after the hour. Linktree.com/BWO. So where all the links to all the things are. Make sure you like, share, subscribe. Did you know you can be members over on YouTube now? Hi, YouTube. We see all you guys over there. If you click that join button right under there for just 99 cents, you can get your little badges and emojis and all that kind of stuff, just like people over on Twitch. But we also have the $5 tier and the $10 tier right there on YouTube, so you don't have to go separately to Patreon if you just prefer to stay on YouTube. All of it all works. You can ask questions. You can get the bonus episodes, all that good stuff right on YouTube as well. All the bits and subs over on Twitch, thank you guys so much for all the support. And thank you for being here with us tonight. We'll be back in about 12 minutes. We'll be back with the BWO mailbag, our weekly AMA show. If you'd like to get in on that, either join on YouTube at the $5 tier or head over to patreon.com/BWO. All you got to be in is that $5 tier. You too can submit your questions for myself and Sir Ian Dangerous every single Tuesday. Oh, yeah. It's one of our favorite things that we absolutely love to do. So we're going to get out of here. We'll be back in 10, put some synthwave music on, let you guys hang out, take a quick bio, grab a drink, and we'll be back in a few minutes. But until then, my name is Nick Howell. You can find me on Twitter at DataCenterDude.
And I am Sir Ian Dangerous. You can find me on Twitter at Sir Ian Dangerous.
But by God!
Would somebody stop the damn match?
This show is part of the Orbital Jigsaw Network. For more episodes, subscribe to us on iTunes, Google Play, or Stitcher Radio. For details and show notes from each episode, check us out, orbitaljigsaw.com.